channel. We are back again. It is Tuesday, the 28th of May, 2024. I hope every single one of you are doing well, man. Big up all the real ones in the building. We much appreciate every single one of you. Hit that like button. We are back to talk football live daily, as usual, man. As usual. We've got a lot of things to actually run through this morning. Edu reveals Arsenal transfer plans. We're going to be talking a lot about Edu today. Interestingly, sporting director Edu, is he going to get a job done? Is he going to be able to bring players, big players, to the club? We are going to be able to kind of decipher that this afternoon, depending on where you're watching. Yeah, listen, he's been talking to the press. He's been saying whatever he's been saying. And we are going to digest every single word today, right here on this live stream. Make sure you don't go anywhere. Marcus Rashford, secret Arsenal meeting. We spoke about this yesterday. I'm going to milk it until we find out what's going on. Literally, I swear to you, I'm going to milk it until we find out what's going on. Big up Marcus Rashford. I know there's a number of Arsenal fans that don't want Rashford at Arsenal. And we will look at everything that there is to look at surrounding the reports and what's being said online. So we're more or less going to recap and regurgitate all of the information we spoke about yesterday. Don't go anywhere. Hit that like button. Enzo Maresca, done deal to Chelsea as well. We're going to be talking about that blue £1 billion bottle job football club with the big belly bowley and the blurry sewers. Yeah, we're going to be talking about those dons. Don't want to go anywhere. Pick up all the Chelsea fans. I know there's a number of guys that are just not in the moods. Yeah, and I'm going to piss you right off even more. How are you guys feeling about the Enzo Maresca deal anyway? I mean, is this the guy that's going to take Chelsea back to where they believe they belong? Do they belong where they believe where they feel they believe they belong, or where they I don't even know what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Roman Abramovich era is over. Chelsea are back to square one. Chelsea are the team that they were prior to Roman Abramovich being the owner of that football club. Yeah, you were a team that were just scrimping and scraping above mid-table. Yeah, remember who you are. You had some good players. You know, Viali, Zola, there was a number of players that you, man, had, of course. But you are back where you belong. Is Enzo Maresca going to be the manager that gets you out of the dumps, takes you out of the sewers? Big up FFT in the building. Big up Afo. Big up Shola. Big up John. Big up the real ones. Big up Tyrell. Big up Boss Boobla. Big up the algorithm complex. Come on, man. I hope you help with the algorithm today, my brother. You best be. We need over 100 likes in this video, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure we are hitting that like button. We've got much more to talk about as well. A lot of Arsenal content. Don't want to go anywhere. What we got going on? 70 million for Rashford? Hell no. I respect Chelsea, my favorite enemy. Here to there. Salute to you, my brother. Good to see you in the. I hope every single one of you are enjoying your day so far. Big up my guy Naga as well. Let's talk about Manchester United. I know we've got one or two Manchester United fans in the building. Let's talk about your fraudulent club, Ten Hag. Yeah. What's going on with Ten Hag right now? Man United contemplating on what to do with Ten Hag. And Ten Hag is actually getting a bit frustrated. He wants to know what's going on so he can decide on what club he would like to, play for next. Come on, man. You're leaving this guy out on... this guy doesn't know what's going on. He's only got a few weeks left. Now, a lot of the reports are suggesting that Man United are going to sack Ten Hag, but it hasn't been confirmed. Ten Hag doesn't know what's going on. He's just won you guys an FA Cup. And I think the owners at Manchester United, are starting to think twice about whether Ten Hag should be sacked. Now, look, let's be totally honest about this Manchester United project. Ten Hag, under the circumstances, has done a really good job. Forget about the league, forget about the domestic league campaign for a minute, because I know it hasn't been the best, but then you have to then take into account the tools, and when we talk about tools, we're talking about the players, we're talking about the people that he has to work with at that fraudulent club. You talk about the tools and everything that comes in Manchester United. Bearing in mind he finished third in his first full season, got a Carabao Cup, also got to an FA Cup final, and won an FA Cup in his second season. Finished 8th, obviously. That's a fall, that's a drop-off, a massive drop-off from finishing 3rd. We get that. But you look at what Manchester United have been, they have been in the mud for ages now. The way that club has been run over the past decade has been embarrassing. They've had people at the club that don't even know nothing about football, just glorified accountants, looking at money, willing to just splash the money on anyone, any big name. That there's not really been a real, identifying a real project, bringing in the right tools for that project. They've gone through manager, and it just literally hasn't worked. Now they've had this, it's not a takeover, but, obviously, Sir Jim Radcliffe's gone in there with his entourage, and they're looking to, change the direction of the football club, change the makeup of the club, change, the uniform of that football club. Because it's been down in the dumps, and that's the reason why those decisions have to be made for Manchester United. You got a leaky roof, you got a flipping, you got a waterfall in your stadium. It's crazy. It's crazy. So literally, when you think about it, what Manchester United have to go through is a complete overhaul of the whole football club. This is from top to bottom. The owners ain't going anywhere. Radcliffe has bought his 30% or whatever it is. He's coming in to, be that David Dean of your football club, more or less, where he's going to be calling the shots. He's going to be, just spearheading the direction of the football club. They're going to make changes. Are those changes going to be beneficial to Manchester United? It remains to be seen at this point. To be quite fair, we don't know. Decisions still need to be made. People need to be brought in. They've made 1 or 2 changes, and some Man United fans seem to be happy with those changes. Like the CEO and so on and so forth. But obviously, it's a process. It's going to have to be a process with your dead club. You got bare dead players. Now, what decision do they make? Get a new manager, bring a new manager in who has to then go through the same process as Ten Hag, or stick with a manager that actually has done well under the circumstances, how challenging and difficult it's been, but still got to cup finals, still managed to pull cups at the bag. I know the football hasn't been entertaining. He's been pragmatic and so on and so forth. There have been moments where he's looked good. There have been moments where you look bad. You've got a defense. We've had injuries all season, and that's not even an excuse, but it's just obviously context. And, you've got bare dead players, man. Let's be honest. I look at that Manchester United team, and it just doesn't represent Manchester United of old. It is absolutely disgraceful. Disgraceful. And again, you've got players like Harry Maguire that have been brought to the club based on the incompetent people that were driving the ship previously. 18 million on a square head like that. And then, just various other decisions. And even under Ten Hag, Anthony and some other decisions that have been made, I think have been awful. But ultimately, I think, instead of me rambling on here about this fraudulent football club in Manchester United, I think these men need to, give back Ten Hag. Back Ten Hag. He's proven that he can win. He's proven that he can win with a dead team. He needs real support, and he needs real shot callers if that's how they're going to run their operation. If he's not going to be the man that calls the shots like what Arsenal were doing with Mikel Arteta, then he needs real shot callers that understand football, that will give him the tools that he needs to do his job. And I believe if you do that, Ten Hag I think he does a good job. So, let's see what happens. But Ten Hag right now he needs a decision. He wants to know what's going on. Are you gonna keep me, or are you sacking me? Because there are teams available. And based on what he's achieved at Manchester United, I think he will have a lot of options, even at an elite level to a degree. Even to an elite level. It might not be, massive, but you know what I mean? Champions League team, like something. It could be just an easy route back to Ajax and try and rebuild them because they're going through a difficult and challenging time. But It remains to be seen. Do give me your thoughts and your comments down below. You Man United fans are saying sack, sack, sack. Man, just let him. No, sack him. Sack him. We got my guy Tope in the building. Tobias says, Ten Hag, put the contract on the desk and let him sign whatever he wants. 2 trophies in 2 years, please. I mean, it's good. It's a good return. You have to be honest. It's a good return dealing with the Ronaldo situation. Like he's had a lot to deal with. He's had a lot to deal with. People talk about what Mikel Arteta's had to deal with at Arsenal. And I side with that. I agree with that, especially for an inexperienced manager. That can be overwhelming. So I side with it. He's had the same issues. And the thing is, the owners that he's got haven't backed him the way our owners backed Mikel Arteta. Our owners ripped up every single contract. That's exactly what these guys need to do at Man United. I swear to you, these guys, everyone at Man United, even including Rashford, who we will talk about, they just need their contract ripped up. Get the fuck out. Rebuild from scratch. You understand? And let's do it with a manager who you believe has the right ideas, the right philosophies, has the right tactics. And as long as you've got that, you build. And that's exactly what Arsenal have done with Mikel Arteta. It's now becoming the blueprint for most football clubs. It's becoming the blueprint. Arsenal and what Mikel Arteta has done with this project, even though we haven't won anything besides an FA Cup and a couple Community Shields, it's becoming a blueprint because we as fans, we understand that it's all about trophies. But for a football club that are trying to progress, there are steps that you need to take for as a business. There are steps that you need to take, and there are milestones that you want to hit and achieve. Based on what we're doing, even though there's been many moments that we haven't been happy with here at Arsenal, I would say that Arsenal have been hitting those milestones. You understand? And now this is why I tell you guys, for us as a football club, the next step is trophy. You can't tell me anything more. You can't tell me anything more. I don't want to be, because if we decide, if we make a rash decision right now, if we make a rash decision based on where our projects are at Arsenal right now, and decide to, just sack Mikel Arteta, that could actually take maybe one season out of our chances of winning the title. So it takes us a step backwards in that sense. This is one of the reasons I say give him one more season, because he's got us up to this point. Yes, it didn't come with a trophy, but it's like, if you do make this decision, it could take us one step back. It's not bad. It's not that bad, because one step back means we could finish 3rd or 4th that season, but then the following season we could re-challenge and go for the title or maybe win it. We don't know. But that's what could potentially happen. And that still could happen with Mikel Arteta, but you would more or less take your chances with the Mikel Arteta, because it's not going to cost you millions and millions of pounds. You understand? The new manager approach and bringing that guy in, his staff comes in and he wants his players, and it's like a whole new project again, even though the same project will still continue. So it's kind of a lot of money. And I think based on what Arsenal have done so far, one more season is definitely fair. And I think with Ten Hag, if I'm going to say that about Mikel Arteta, then relating it to Ten Hag, I mean, Ten Hag, if anything, is pretty achieved more. He has achieved more. He has achieved more. Forget about the 8th finish. In that space of time that he's been at Manchester United, he's got 2 trophies and a 3rd place finish in 2 seasons. You look at what Arteta has achieved at Arsenal. Ten Hag has done better under the circumstances. The only difference is Mikel Arteta had backing and Ten Hag hasn't really had that backing, has he? So this is why I'm saying give Ten Hag another season or even 2 more seasons, because it might take that before you, as Man United fans, decide that you want to fire the guy. I think he deserves that, and I think he's obviously waiting to find out what's going on. Clearly. Obviously, Sky Sports talk about it in depth, but we're not going to do that. Anyway, moving on. Hit the like button, do subscribe, all of that type of stuff. We appreciate every single one of you. A bit of Man United's talk this morning. Big up the Man United fans. Make sure you guys share this video and hit the like button, all of that type of stuff. We want to get over 100 likes on this one, so make sure we're helping with the goal. Xavi Simons wants to join Barcelona. This is a slap in the face for any Arsenal fan that wants a lot of the reports, and I read a number of reports this morning and late last night when I was doing my research for this stream, that Xavi Simons is destined for Barcelona. He wants to go back to Barcelona. The sad thing is here for Xavi Simons is that his future is more or less coming to a standstill. This is a player who, in my opinion, can go on and be one of the best players in Europe. He could potentially go on and be one of the best players of all time. You know, this guy is extremely talented. It's just about being with the right team, right manager, and the guy, and then voila, he is there. He's already got the talent, the skill, the mentality. He wants it. The problem he faces is that a team called PSG who are all over the place, and they're not giving him the time. They're not giving him the time. They're not really giving him the support. They're being greedy. They care more about the money than they care about the quality of the player, and that's what's happening here. They sold him to PSV, put a 7 million buyback clause, triggered that buyback clause because they see him do astronomical numbers, and then decided to loan him to RB Leipzig, where he went and done well, and now they're talking about loaning him out again. It's like, bro, you're taking the piss out of man's career, bro. This ain't no flipping. This ain't Norton Cuffy, who we're going to talk about in this stream. Brooke Norton Cuffy. This is a quality player on the verge of being an elite player if you just allow him to go to a team so he can establish himself. But it does look like he's going to push for that. Come on, man. He knows what he is. He knows what he's capable of doing. He come through the Barcelona Academy. He was a captain in the Barcelona Academy. This guy is, he's born to be one of these stars of football. And the longer he stays at PSG, the more he tarnishes his chances of being that. Because PSG is just a shit show. It's a shit show. Let's be honest now. Great players, oil money, all of that type of shit. But it's a shit show, bruv. Yeah? Luis Enrique is a bad boy manager. You can see Luis Enrique is a bad boy manager, but he probably won't succeed at PSG the way you would think he would, or the way you expect him would, because the way you expect him to, because it's a poorly run club. It's the culture over there is shit. There's a lot of change that needs to happen over there. And for Xavi Simons, man, he just needs to leave PSG, go to a club and find himself. And based on the reports, that club is going to be Barcelona. Barcelona is going to be that club. There could be a surprise over the summer. There could be some sort of surprise. Arsenal come out of the woodwork with Xavi Simons. You never know. These things can always happen. But do comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Moving on, we've got Frank Lampard and Steve Cooper on the shortlist. As Burnley make plans to find a replacement for Vincent Kompany. As we do know, he's en route with Craig Bellamy. Oh, Vincent Kompany is en route with Craig Bellamy in a private jet to sign for Bayern Munich. This is crazy. Oh man, you know what? This is so funny. It's like it's written. It's like written. This shit's already written. Yeah, there's gonna be. I swear, Dan, there's gonna be a period where Bayern Munich actually sit still. They sit still. They might even regress. They might be the one of the most spoken about teams in the history of football to actually, it's going to be like a Man United. It could be like a Man United process for them. I'm not saying it is going to be. I'm just saying it could be because of decisions that are being made. And you think Vincent Kompany, obviously decent manager. I wouldn't say he would be a manager to take Bayern Munich over the line on a consistent basis. But decent manager. And obviously, is he going to be someone that can convince Bayern Munich players, to actually stay? Can he actually attract, top quality players? Are they going to buy into his vision? I see a video of Vincent Kompany the other day going around of him just going mad, absolutely mad at the Burnley players. Yeah. I'm just unsure. I'm unsure. I don't think things are going to go the way Bayern Munich fans would want it to go. Bayern Leverkusen have done a mad thing. They're going to continue to build on that. Dortmund are going to try and build on they're in the Champions League final. When does that play? Has that happened already? What's going on? I feel like I've been asleep for a long time. When is that final, bro? Should be, when is that final done? Am I mad? What's going on, bro? What's going on? Usually it's like the last game of the season, right? Bro, the 1st of June. All right, I thought I was sleeping, I thought I'd missed it. I was like, no way have I missed the Champions League final. This doesn't make any sense. No, it's on the 1st of June. It's on Saturday, the 1st of June, which is this Saturday, in fact. So yeah, looking forward to watching that. But yeah, it's gonna be difficult for Bayern Munich, man. It's gonna be difficult for them. Let's see how they manage it. Let's see if Vincent Company has it in his locker to take them over the line. Kieran McKenna, another manager that's been linked with Manchester United and a whole host of clubs, has signed a new long-term contract with Ipswich. I mean, that was inevitable. It only made sense that he'd done that. Back-to-back promotions. Now they're playing in the Premier League. He must have been given a lot of encouragement and a lot of support from the boards. They must have showed him numbers. They said that they're really going to put some finances on the table. So, I mean, that's the only reason why a manager would want to really, really stay. If it's going to be a struggle, maybe the passion of what, for what you've done and what you've achieved so far would kind of inspire you to want to stay. That could convince you. But I don't know. I think he's got some backing. There must be back-to-back promotions. It's crazy. Jules Koundé is on the transfer list. Barcelona looking to sell him, and according to Mundo Deportivo, a number of Premier League teams are ready to sign him. But just to give you guys, obviously, a fresh update on Enzo Maresca, there's no doubts over him signing for Chelsea. It is official. He will be the next manager of Chelsea, and this is going to be, interesting. He does play attacking football. If you saw the football he was playing with Leicester, you will understand like he does have attacking football. It's the football that Big Belly Bowley and blurry sewers want to play over there. According to some of the reports that I read, they want attacking football. This guy wants to play, a 4-3-3 type, style, really attacking. And he's got an idea of, what type of players he wants to bring in. Big Belly Bowley's ready to back him and give him money. There's going to be an overhaul. There's going to be one or two. I say one or two. We're talking maybe like 3-4 players that leave Chelsea. And Conor Gallagher could be one of them. What's his name? Enzo Fernandez could be another. I think they've brought in this Enzo Maresca to try and convince Enzo Fernandez to stay. But I think there's one or two players that want to leave. Craig Bellamy. Can you imagine Craig Bellamy and company now manage? Get out of here, bro. I can't take that shit seriously. You know what? They've done that to ensure that Harry Kane wins no trophies. The only trophy that Harry Kane's going to win is for scoring the most goals in the Bundesliga. That's the only medal he has won. Big up Naruto. He says, Maresca is a great manager. Wax, will you be boycotting the new UCL format? I will be. No, man. I've got no reason to boycott it. It's let's see how it goes. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays. You play 8 teams. You start off with shit teams, you just build up the reputation that after about the 5th or the 4th or the 5th game, the games start getting a bit harder. That's how I've seen it on Football Manager. I mean, that's the only place I can see it because it hasn't been played out yet. But that's how they play it out. 8 games, I think it's top 8 or top 8 or top 10 go through to the knockouts and something like that. It's a weird one. You got 36 teams in the league, but not everyone plays each other. What's the point in doing that? I don't really see a point. They just tried to get gassed off this European Super League and decided that, oh my God, we'll take that format and we'll pull it here because everyone wants to be a part of that and we want to keep them here. So we'll what? Just stick with what you were doing, bro. If them man want to be a part of that, let them be a part of that. At the end of the day, the amount of people that wanted to be a part of the Super League, the Super League would have folded. There was only about 5 teams that were really, really pushing for it. All right, cool. They were the biggest teams. All right, but in our world, would have been able to write them teams off. All right, cool. Real Madrid, Juventus, and what? All right, cool. For Juventus, you can't even chat anyway. You man were desperate for that Super League, blood. You needed that money. You needed that money. So Juventus can't even chat, but Real Madrid, obviously, you just have to write them off, blood. And then make someone else the best club in the world. You know what I mean? That's just how it works. Man City become the Real Madrid of the planet. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, it's Saturday. I'm looking forward to the Champions League final anyway, man. I actually thought I missed it, but it is this Saturday. Big up all the new subscribers in the building. Make sure we are hitting the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are new, to your notification bells are on, all of that type of stuff. We appreciate every single one of you. Give us a couple of minutes. We will be diving into some Arsenal news if you are here to see what's going on with Arsenal and Rashford and all of these fraudulent publications. Come on, guys. Big up my guy Mad Miaz in the building. Big up Star Wars. My guy Ravi, I see you. Big up Uzo. FJT, this guy mad in the chat this morning. Big up my guy Footy Chats in the building. Good to see you here, bro. Ski. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, keep getting those comments in, man. Keep getting those comments in. Keep hitting that like button and keep viewing this. Keep watching this, man. Don't go anywhere. So yeah, man, this guy Enzo Maresca anyway. Does look like it's a done deal. Bringing attacking football to Chelsea. Got some good players to work with. They've obviously got Big Belly Bowley and he's flipping big checkbook. You know, they're going to splash more cash. Let's see how these men handle it and manage it. It's going to be interesting next season, man. A lot of clubs going to be going for it. A lot of clubs. Man United going to be back or aiming to be back. Chelsea going to be aiming to be back. New manager, new identity. You know, new billions. More billions, should we say. Then you'll have Aston Villa again. Newcastle probably will try and go again, even though the recent links, you know, for Newcastle haven't really been that exciting. If I was a Newcastle fan, I wouldn't be overly excited about the rumors right now. If anything, I would be pessimistic, because it does look like you, man, are going to try and balance books. And you know, with Newcastle, the fact that Manchester United knocked you, man, out of Europe, more or less, that's going to be detrimental. It's going to be detrimental to the project. I don't think they're going to sack Eddie Howe, because Eddie Howe's done a significant job. But what they'll have to do is rethink the plan and probably might have to sell one or two players more than they expected to sell initially. Do you know what I mean? And now you're going to go through you know, when you're looking at players, you're looking at players that are going to come in and just kind of balance the squads. There might be one marquee signing, you know, one big signing. It depends on who you sell as well. But a lot of the signings that Newcastle are going to be making, especially now they're only going to be playing Premier League and domestic cup football, is players to kind of balance the squad. Free agents, players from Fulham, you know, local lads. You're not gonna be signing any Isaks or any Bruno Guimarães or anyone of that level. Do you know what I mean? And it's sad, really, because I was excited for the Newcastle project. I swear to you, as an Arsenal fan, I was excited for the Newcastle project, because I'm like, we're going through our process and our process is taking long. We've seen Eddie Howe trajectory. It's massive. Like, Eddie Howe trajectory and the Newcastle trajectory was massive. So we're like, whoa, this is going to be explosive, you know? But it hasn't turned out to be the case, and results didn't go your way. Other teams have obviously, you know, put one over you, and now you guys are going to have to go through. You're going to have to rethink your plan. You're going to have to rethink the plan again, and hopefully, this is a good reset, because you do have good players, and for Newcastle, what they can now do is really build a team that can sustain a good position within the league. Now they're not in European football, and then end of the season, you go again for European football. That's how it has to be, blood. But big up Newcastle and big up Chelsea. We big up everyone, even though they're all frauds. Yeah, they're all the ops. They're ops, blood. We know that, but obviously we're neutral when we do our streams. Live daily, talking football. That's what we do. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. We're going to be moving over to some Arsenal. Before we do that, just to kind of let you guys know, Sergio Conceição, the guy that slapped Arsenal. Yeah, slapped Arsenal. Made it difficult for Arsenal. We obviously got through. We eventually made it happen, but he is a good manager. He has decided to leave Porto. This is interesting. He's been there for a number of years. I believe he was, played for them back in his day. Son plays for them as well. Does that mean his son will be leaving? He's actually on the verge of signing for Marseille. Marseille are pushing for Conceição, and I think that will be a good move for Marseille. You know, he's a good manager with, you know, good tick-tacker attacking football. He can, you know, get some of their players playing. You know, and they've had a decent campaign, Marseille themselves. It hasn't been the campaign that they had when they had Saliba there. You know, they finished second when they had Saliba. Remember that? Let me just quickly look at Marseille's camp where they finished. I'm pretty sure they finished. I think it was like 5th or something like that, even less than that. Lacazette's birthday today as well, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday to that fraud, Lacazette. I was looking at some Lacazette goals. In fact, Lacazette scored some bad boy goals, man. He scored some bad boy goals. Marseille finished 8th, bro. Marseille finished 8th. They didn't have a good campaign. So to get a manager like Conceição, I think that would be great for Marseille. Maybe they can re-challenge again. Because when they had Saliba in their defense, this is how you know Saliba's a G. This gives you more context to tell you guys that Saliba was always the missing piece, and Saliba was always a qualified player. Saliba was never raw. Saliba was never someone that needed experience. Saliba was never someone that needed to go out on loan. People talk fucking shit. They don't understand how to identify talent, and what they do is they just go with the media narrative and use that, push that, because the general population, the general consensus will always go with the media narrative. That's what they will do. So as a YouTuber, as a content creator, as someone that loves to voice an opinion on football, like I feel like slapping you in your face sometimes, bro. Like, no disrespect, I don't even promote violence. Let me take that back. But you know what I mean. Like you just fucking, you're fucking thick. You're thick. And you're sitting online arguing with dons that know football like the back of their hand, and you're trying to tell me X, Y, and Z and block that. Get out of it, bro. Get out of it. I don't want to hear it, mate. Marseille finished second. Only like 1 point or 2 points behind PSG, blood. Yeah, in the season where Saliba played for them. In the one and only season Saliba played for them. This season they finished 8th. The season where Mikel Arteta gave Saliba the chance, what happened to Arsenal? Oh yeah, we finished 2nd. After the season we finished 5th. Okay, yeah. The season we never had Saliba. Oh yeah, cool. And this is the reason why I was telling people, even people like Lee Judges and Kevin Campbell, who wasn't really agreeing, they agreed more or less with Arsenal's management of Saliba. And to a degree, you could probably say, you could probably have that look on it, right? But if you put all the context on the table, the player necessarily never needed to go out on loan. The player was actually probably the best defender we had even then. Imagine that. Like, he's the best defender we have now, but he was probably the best defender we had then. If you compare who we had in the team, Rob Holding, Mustafi, David Luiz, Socrates, you're telling me Saliba ain't better than them? All right, then. So Mikel Arteta made the right decision to loan him out and keep them guys, yeah? All right, then. Cool. Mad. And the data obviously tells you the reality of what's going on here, but it is what it is. People will live in their delusional bubble and just push the mainstream media narrative, and that's fine. They can have that opinion, but they do need to get slapped so they get some sense knocked into their head, and that's all I mean by that. I don't promote violence, though. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to dive into some Arsenal news right now, man. I know you enjoy these morning streams with your boy Wax Online, man. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, blood. Yeah, let's not even go there. Let's not even go there. Just hit the like button. Show me some love. Show me with some respect. No deleting and all of that. Another interesting thing, actually. This is more or less leading us or segueing into Arsenal content now. Dortmund are open to selling Karim Adeyemi this summer, and there has been an inquiry by a club in England. Now, this is extremely interesting. A club in England have made an inquiry over Adeyemi. This guy is explosive. This guy could go down. If he played for a team like Arsenal, he would be instantly, in the space of half a season, be labelled as one of the best guys in European football. And that's a fact. I mean, I've done an eye test on this player a number of times. Adeyemi is one of a kind. And the longer he stays at Dortmund, I think the more he tarnishes his chance of being that player. Like I said about, kind of like how I said about Xavi Simons the other day. Slightly different earlier in the stream. Slightly different circumstances, but for me, this is a player that if he was playing for, Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, if he went to one of those clubs, or if he went to Real Madrid, or if he went to Barcelona, or if he played for Bayern Munich, or, he would stand out and be talked about differently. And he's a very, very good player. Like Shah says, pace and power merchant. No, he's good, man. He's a very, very good player. And Arsenal could be the club that have made this inquiry. We don't know. It could be Chelsea. I probably wouldn't be surprised if it was Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea are more of a club that are trying to sign every single young player in the world right now. But one club have made an inquiry of Adeyemi. Do comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. AC Milan and Arsenal are interested in Youssouf Fofana, who should leave AC Milan this summer. It is expected that the player will leave. Arsenal are looking at midfielders. We're going to be talking about Edu. Edu has a transfer plan. He has kind of spoken a bit in the press recently, in the last 24 to 48 hours, which I'm going to share with you. Don't go anywhere. Interesting takes. And it does look like we have a plan. It does look like Arsenal will be pulling players out the bag nice and early. We won't have to drag this out. I mean, last season we didn't have to drag it out, but I think it's going to be another one. Before the Euros, we should have a signing over the line, maybe 2 signings, and then throughout the Euros, maybe another, and then finalized by the time we go to USA. Obviously, USA is going to be on the 21st of July, so a little later because of the Euros. But before we go, then we should have all of the players, all of the marquee players. So there still could be 1 or 2 players that leave or join after we go to the USA. But I'm under the assumption, based on what I'm reading, based on what Mikel Arteta wants, is all of the marquee players on that plane to the USA. So we're gonna be diving in and touching on what the plan is and what Edu is going to be trying to achieve moving forward from today. Don't go anywhere. Fasten your seatbelts. Big up Donnell. He says Eddie is not better. I don't know who he's talking about or who he's comparing him with. Eddie is not better than who. Big up, is it Bodge? He says, with Saliba situation, you are insinuating that the French league is the same level as the Premier League and ignoring context of bad players affecting good players. No, not at all, my guy. Not at all, my guy. I'm not insinuating that the French league is the same level. I'm insinuating that William Saliba was a qualified player and he is a person that can single-handedly change the dynamics of your team and what your team is capable of doing. It doesn't matter what league he is in. It could be the French league, the German league, the Premier League, blood, right? The data that Saliba has produced over the years of being at Arsenal, even though he hasn't played for Arsenal, has illustrated that he can more or less play for Arsenal and more or less be the best player, the best defender that we had. But we decided to loan him out and play Rob Holding. We decided to loan him out and play Mustafi and play Kolasinac and all these frauds that were at the football club. Yeah. So, you're talking waffle. If you understand, all the context that I've actually put on the table for William Saliba over the years of, or over the months of me speaking about this particular topic, then you will know my feelings towards both leagues. In fact, I will tell you right now, do not disrespect the French league. Everyone's quick and fast to disrespect the French league. But one thing we fail to realize is that there's a number of top players, right? Top players that have come to the Premier League and torn this league to shit. And guess what? They come from the French league. Okay. We can probably name, you know what the maddest thing is? You know what the maddest thing is? We can probably name more successful players that have come from the French league to the Premier League more than we can name unsuccessful players. And I'm not even going to go out of my way to do it, but we can name so many names that have come from the French league to the Premier League and instantly was a success and instantly was spoken about as one of the best players in the Premier League. The only football they had played before the Premier League was French football. So again, when you talk about context, there's a lot to actually put on the table. And as I said to you, you can never disrespect the French football, the French league. Don't ever disrespect the French league, my guy. Okay. When you're seeing Lacazette and these dons over in the French league putting up numbers, don't say, oh, it's because it's a French league. No. The football on display at Arsenal just wasn't, tailored or beneficial for a Lacazette or an Aubameyang at that time. So it's got nothing to do with the leagues, bro, because Aubameyang was banging. What, Aubameyang didn't get golden boot as an example? He got golden boot here in the Premier League, didn't he? And then and his averages were sky high. So, it's crazy. It's crazy that people have these wild takes and put the Premier League on a pedestal. It's just stop it. Just stop it. I understand that the Premier League is probably the best league in the world. It's the most intense, the most aggressive, the most fast-paced league. I get all of that. You're talking to a fanatic, bro. You understand? You're talking to a fanatic. I live and breathe football daily, blood. So I get it, but don't disrespect the French league. And I'm not even French, so I'm not even trying to back them like that. Come on, how many players? Look, people are mentioning the names. Big up everyone, man. Big up all the real ones in the building. Big up all the real ones. I'll give you guys a round of applause because they're sitting here putting a bunch of names in this chat, and the names are endless. We can go all the way back to the 1990s, blood. When you're talking about French players that have come to the Premier League and been successes. Come on, man. People are waffling. Anyway, this is another one here. Youssouf Fofana only played in the French league as well. Is he going to be a flop coming to the Premier League? I bet he comes to Arsenal if he does and hits the ground running and becomes one of the best players in the league instantly. Yeah, know what I mean? So yeah, man. Let's see what happens anyway. Let's see what happens. Youssouf Fofana, according to the reports, though, Youssouf Fofana could be available for £20 million. 20 million. If that is the case, get it done. Arsenal are the latest club to hit supporters with season ticket price rises of up to 10% for 2024 and 2025. Now, Arsenal have been increasing the prices every single season. Last season, it went up by about 7%. This season, it's gone up by 10%. That's 17% in 2 seasons, man. That is extortionate, man. I have to be honest. We already have one of the most expensive season tickets in world football. And we're not even just talking about the season tickets now. We're talking about the merchandise. I know you can go into the armory and there's a sale always on, and you can buy cheap stuff in there, £10 stuff, £5 stuff even. I get all of that, right? But when you're looking at shirts, when you're looking at things that you really want to be buying from the armory, they're going up every single year, bro. They're going up every single year. They're going up every single year, bro. And you're doing it with the tickets, you're doing it with the merch. Come on, man. I understand that you're trying to recoup that Declan Rice money, blood, but fucking hell, pardon my language. 10% increase. This is crazy. Inflation is, but the maddest thing is, for those that don't know, inflation has been brought down. Inflation is down, bro. Inflation is down, bro. So what inflation has done, inflation has pushed the market up to the point where these fraudulent dons out here in the business world can tell you what the price is. And because you've been programmed based on inflation to follow that price range, even if inflation drops by 20%, you are so programmed that you will continue to pay the extortionate prices. and they'll give you the illusion, oh, but inflation's dropped. Yeah, sure. These guys are still pushing up prices. These guys are still trying to suck man for peas, blood. What do you think this is? No Diddy. Yeah? Come on. The game's gone wild. It rises again every year, bro. Big up T, man. I'm telling you. So, yeah. Expect season tickets for your renewals. They probably all happened already. I think the renewals already kicked in. They like taking that renewal money nice and early. Arsenal work. They like taking that renewal money nice and early. They've got Declan Rice money to recoup. We've got a transfer budget to obviously put together. So, yeah, man. It's another reason why we release our shirt nice and early as well, man. We've started to release our shirt nice and early ever since COVID. Ever since COVID, the strategy and the financial plan for Arsenal is totally different. Totally different. They strategize differently now. The planning is so much more different. And I wonder who done that. Is it because of C19? Is that because, I don't know. Let's see though, man. Let's see what happens, man. All I know is Arsenal needs to spend big money, man. Let's move on to what Edu's been saying anyway. Joshua Zertsky's got interesting take. He basically says he wants to recover from his injury, have some nice holidays with his friends in the United States, and then when he comes back, he will see what's going to happen. He has mentioned that he does want to stay at Bologna. His mind's on Bologna. You have to be real now with what Bologna has achieved. They find themselves back into the Champions League, or I say back in the Champions League. I don't think they've ever been in the Champions League. So this is an achievement for them. When we signed Tomiyasu from Bologna, Like they were sitting like 12th, and I was doing research on Bologna, and Bologna was a team that were only swinging between like 15th and 10th. So what Thiago Motta has done at Bologna is fantastic, and if they can convince him to stay as a manager, I think Zertsky stays. I think he stays. They go to the Champions League together, and they see where it takes them. Honestly, I think that's what's going to happen with that. But obviously, Arsenal have Joshua Zertsky on their radar. They're looking at him. They like him. João Felix type player. I think he will cook at Arsenal, but it's not the type of player I would want to bring in. I want to bring in a more of a traditional number 9. Then that traditional number 9 can have the the qualities of a midfielder, but I still need those striker qualities, Black. Do you know what I mean? I still need those number 9 qualities. And I think Joshua Zertsky, when I look at him and I watch him play, he just reminds me more of a midfield type player, a midfield attacker. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not an attacker, like one of those guys that have got a clinical finish, or one of those guys that hit the ball clean, that I just got, you know what I mean? Like, you see someone like Lacazette, even though Lacazette's time under Arteta wasn't the greatest, Lacazette, right, when it comes to hitting a ball, when it comes to like actually possessing those real number 9 striking qualities, Lacazette is a fucking prime example, pardon my language. Yeah, it didn't work out for him, but he is someone that, we need that. We need the Lacazette back, but we don't need Lacazette, if you understand what I mean. Like, we don't want that, but we need certain qualities that Lacazette has. We need those back. Like, give us those in a younger player who's 24, 25, and that has other variations to his game as well. And for me, that is Gyökeres all over. I'm telling you, man, that is Gyökeres all over. I think even Lacazette could be a better striker of the ball than Gyökeres, but he still has those qualities, blood. Man says stop the lacquer cap. It's not even cap, bro. It's not even cap. Man says stop the lacquer cap. Please, man. Fucking hell. Man, the disrespect for lacquer, The disrespect. You should have got no airtime for that. Real talk. The disrespect. Anyway, like, I'm not going to judge Lacazette on what he done under the circumstances at Arsenal, because if anyone if anyone really supports the football club, understand what Lacazette had to go through, and it wasn't the greatest of times. It wasn't a place where anyone could just come in and flourish and be that guy, especially when you've got managers that are playing pragmatic styles of play and not really tailoring their football to benefit you as a number 9. Unai Emery did to a degree, but Mikel Arteta definitely didn't do that. And Mikel Arteta was using Lacazette as he uses Jesus. Is Jesus scoring goals? Any goals? Like, what is Jesus actually fucking doing? Okay, it clearly shows you that the problem is the manager, in it, right? In terms of what they're asking of that player, what they want that number 9 to do. So let's see anyway, plus let's see how we tweak these things. Doku can't strike a ball to save his life, says Ghost. Club just wants the tourist money. Real fans suffer in the end. The atmosphere will suffer, says Andrew. I mean, maybe, but everything's positive right now. Need Musiala so we can either play him left 8 or 10, then Odegaard 8 and 10. Yeah, we need some more creativity, man. We need some more creativity. Sometimes I do question, though, whether Mikel Arteta will allow these players to use their initiative and be as creative as they can be. Because sometimes I don't get that feeling. But anyway, let's move on. Man. Keep getting those comments in. I haven't got long left. I've only got about 5 minutes to be quite fair to run through this. But Edu has been speaking in the press, and Edu has a plan and transfer plan to make things happen. Edu Gaspar, just to kind of touch on his future quickly at Arsenal. He says that's something I ask myself a lot. I'm living at the moment. I've always dreamed of. Today, I'm not thinking about going back to Brazil. I can't say never, but today I don't think about it. I want to stay here at Arsenal and maybe retire. There's no way I can think otherwise. As a director, I've won all the titles I won as a player. The only thing missing is the Premier League. Okay, so now you need to win a Champions League. You need a European title underneath your belt as well. Don't forget that. Don't think that because you never won that as a player, that is not a part of the expectation, Mr. Sporting Director Edu Gaspar. Yeah, you need to make sure you remember that. Yeah, because that's what we need to also achieve within the next year or 2 years as well. I'll say 2 years for a European title. We need that Premier League first of all, but I do want to win at that European title just so we can kind of end that argument with other rival fans when it comes to, oh, but we've got a European title and you don't. All right, cool, blood. I'm fed up of talking about, oh, we've got a golden trophy. Yeah, we've got a golden trophy. Cool. So does Xavi Alonso as well. Fuck's sake. So, yeah, we need to win the Champions League, man. We need to win the Champions League before we can obviously end that debate. Big up Roland, big up all the members, man. We appreciate every single one of you. Click on the join button, become a member of the channel, man. It does go a very, very long way, help the channel growth as well. And we do have some member-only streams that we will be dropping, so make sure you get yourself involved. So yeah, Edu talking. Let us know what the crack is. Now, this is interesting because one thing Edu has confirmed, right, is that, if I can find it in time before I'm trying to just, I can't even find it, blood. Where did I pull it? All right, so it's the actual plan that Edu has in place for our transfers. Can I find it? There's various. I think it's just all over the place right now. It is all over the place. I have found it, but I'm trying to get it in order just to make sure I basically set it in order without making it sound like it doesn't make sense, basically. All right, so let's read this one. I've got this one here. So Edu basically says you can't sign a player for the sake of the signing, and that's true. Like we don't want to be out here just signing anyone. We don't want backups. We don't want Cedric Suarez's. I'm pretty sure you would have learned from that, Edu, after giving him a 4.5 year fucking contract, right? So yeah, it does take time. We need to identify the right profiles, the right qualities, and so on and so forth. But he says it has to be a process that takes weeks and weeks. On my desk, I have reports of over 180 pages on one player. It's really detailed stuff, physical, technical, mental profile, when he has Premier League experience, whether he'll be able to adapt and everything. Like, come on, it obviously makes sense. You got to look at everything that there is to look at in order to kind of determine if it's the right player. He says we analyze our deficiencies, where we can improve, where we can invest, and then we go in search of that new name. We've been discussing what I'm going to do now since January, and that's very key, ladies and gentlemen. That is very key. This is where we hold Edu accountable, right here. We have been discussing what we are going to do now, meaning this summer, since January. All right. This is fantastic news. All right. This is taken as fantastic news because what this does now for us as Arsenal fans, as content creators, as critics of our football club as well, this allows us to now hold this fraud accountable. I hold this guy accountable all the time. I always tell you guys, look, what this guy has told man over the years is that Arsenal are trying to achieve X, Y, and Z. In 2022, he told us that from that year on, Arsenal are going to be competing for trophies. That is what Arsenal are going to be doing. Now, from that interview, I have to be honest, we haven't competed on all fronts for all trophies. We have been disappointed, domestic cups especially, disappointed. But the 2 league campaigns that we've had since that interview have been deemed progress, or deemed as progression, and to some people success, and to some people failure, but to a majority of people it's been encouraging. It has been encouraging. We finished second back to back since that interview that I'm talking about. So I want to hold him accountable. I want to make sure that this guy is, actually delivering. He is sticking to his word. He is, making sure that he is doing this to ensure that Arsenal are going to compete and to win and to do all of the things that we want them to do. Because I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to see PR. I don't want to see any bullshit, blood. Do you understand? I want to see the realness of what's going on, and These guys just need to be real. These guys need to deliver now. They've got one more season ultimately. One more season more, especially Mikel Arteta. I mean, sporting director Edu, that's a different story. But Mikel Arteta's got one more season, which means this partnership, these two guys on the screen, Edu and Arteta, they have one more season to get this right and win us, deliver us a trophy. According to Edu, though, they've had a plan since January. They are sticking with that plan. They're going to execute that plan. Now, I know we probably get told about a plan every single season, but now it's about keeping these guys accountable and having that proof that these guys are trying and they want to make it happen. He does say, though, it's not my decision or Mikel's. It's a group decision when they are signing players. Now, there's another paragraph or another tweet, that I wanted to share. Where is it gone? Let me get it. Where is it? Edu says, this season, it's a strange feeling, very strange, because we end the season with the feeling that we've done everything right. Now, when you look at that, when you say that, you've done everything right, but you still didn't win anything, does that mean that there's something wrong? Does that mean there's something wrong? Hold on, bear with me for 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to extend this stream. Hold on, just bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to need to let my manager quickly deal with a meeting that... Spare me for 1 sec. When are we going gym, bro? I know. I need to get into the gym. Big up my guy, Miggy. I'm going to respond to you in a minute, my broski. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like button. Keep hitting that like button. Spare me for a couple of minutes. I've just gone off focus for 1 second. Just need to make sure I've... Okay. All right, guys, hit that like button. Do subscribe if you are newly watching. Pick up all the real ones locked in. Much appreciate every single one of you. All right, cool. Mustard. Oh, listen, I had some lovely dinner yesterday. I'm just thinking about that. I think I want that again, Okay, January, what happens to the original plan? Well, yeah, I mean, this could be the plan. I mean, this is where you've got to question Dons, isn't it? This is where you really got to question Dons. Do I actually have any of the takes from January or... I don't think I do, actually, man. I have to go through the archives and see if I can dig out some information about what the actual plan was in January and what they were telling us in January. But according to Mikel Arteta and according to Edu, Mikel Arteta did a good job, great job. Achieved the goals. So we achieved the goals. What were the goals? He says we did everything we could, but it wasn't enough. There's frustration, but there's also positive feeling that the process has done well. The work was excellent. I mean, I don't really know what to take from that, to be quite fair, because then you have to look at, all right, cool. If you feel like it wasn't enough, but we've done everything right, then there must be something wrong. We know Mikel Arteta is inexperienced. Maybe that's what's wrong. I don't know. Maybe there were some decisions that were being made in game throughout last season that was wrong. And that was Mikel Arteta. So again, you have to kind of bring that back to the manager. I don't think it was the signings. I mean, some people can scrutinize Kai Havertz, but then we see how Kai Havertz come to fruition. Obviously, we never had, Timber. Declan Rice was a phenomenal signing. David Raya was unnecessary. Didn't need to happen. But, you can't really say that we made the wrong decisions there. So where did we go wrong? What happened? Didn't we strengthen the bench? Didn't we sell enough players? Didn't we bring in enough players? Like, something must have went wrong. You know what I mean? Like, because if it didn't go wrong, then you would be lifting the Premier League title right now, isn't it? So when Edu sits there and talks this, it starts making me question him now. I'm like, oh, bro, like, what are you telling me? Like, what are you really telling me? Mad thing. Mad thing. Big up Cats in the building. Big up Aaron London as well. Big up Christopher Williams. Big up Early Boy as well. Come on, nothing but love and respect to you guys. Keep getting your comments in. Lookman, how many goals he scored this season? Lookman, let's have a little look. Lookman, let's have a look, man. Let's have a look, man. Come on. Ademola, look, come on. Let's have a look, man. All right, cool. So Ademola. I used to call him Adiola, but it's Ademola. I only realized that the other day, to be fair. He's actually scored 10 goals and 6 assists in 30 games. So 16 GA in 30 games for Lookman, which is pretty interesting. I mean, look, he's going to be one of the talks of the town in this summer window. I think there's a number of teams that are going to be looking at Lookman. He's been in the Premier League before. He's played for like 2 or 3 different clubs in the Premier League. Yeah, in all competitions, I think it's 23 GA. You're probably right there, Tobias. But yeah, good player, man. He's definitely demonstrated that. The goals that he scored the other day. I mean, you know what I like about players like Lookman and what I saw from him in that final against Bayern Leverkusen is that, you know, he's got a lot of tenacity in his play, but he is someone that wants to step up and be heard, be seen, to make the difference. Do you know what I mean? That he's not hiding. He wants to prove himself. This is what I like about players like Xavi Simons and all these other young players that are around, you know, the Europe at the moment. It's like these players like Phil Foden's, like when you see them, they're not just trying to be like, they're not just trying to do like a certain, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, bro. I don't know how to explain it. These guys, it's like they want to be the best. They want to prove week in, week out that they are the best, and they rarely put in half-hearted performances. Rarely put in half-hearted performances. I need to see that more from my young talent. You know, I need to see that more from Saka. I know Saka stands up and gets GA, but even in games where he gets GA blood, you know, he's dead in the game. He's proper dead, you know. He's gone missing in the whole game, but then he steps up and he scores, and it's like, yay! And obviously you forget about how poor the game is, but the real ones, like me, and like many others, will always pull those performances up. We'll always scrutinize those performances. Do you understand? So, like, I need our young dons, yeah? Like, Odegaard's the only one for me right now I can say actually gives us, he probably gives us 100% in every single game. Odegaard gives us, and I wasn't saying that over a year ago, but this season, Odegaard has definitely been giving us 100% in nearly every game. There's probably 1 or 2 games this season where Odegaard, you know, he did go missing a little bit, but you know, other than that, I think Odegaard's, you know, he's probably the most improved player at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Most improved player of the past 12 months. And you got players like Martinelli, like Early Boy saying, you know, I think a lot of people are feeling the same way about Martinelli, and it's sad because only 6 months ago, I was calling people out for actually giving up on Martinelli. And here I am 6 months later telling you that I think it's probably the best thing to do is sell Martinelli. Sell him. You know, sell him. I think it's that time now. It's that time now, and it's sad, man. I never thought it would come to a time or a point where I thought Martinelli would have to be sold, but I think it's that time now. Do comment down below. Let me know if you agree with that. Let me know if you agree with that. But Edu, however, the sporting director is telling us, ladies and gentlemen, that he has a plan. That plan stems from January. You know, he's looking at players. We know, you know, who those players are, more or less. We've got a whole list of players. He says he's got over 100 and over 180 or 160 reports on each individual player. On each individual player that they are interested in. So they're thorough. They're being thorough with this. They're being thorough with this. Let's just see if they pull out the players out the bag. Who are those players going to be? Is it going to be, you know, Eucharist? Is it going to be Diamande? Is it going to be João Neves? I mean, we've been in Portugal quite a lot. So I'm mentioning those players first, you know. A lot of the reports are telling us that's where we've been thoroughly scouting. You know, is it going to be, you know, Victor Osimhen? You know, it could be a wild one like Victor Osimhen that gets pulled out of the bag. You know, we did have a report a couple of days ago coming out of Italy to suggest that Victor Osimhen wants to move to London. He wants to move to Arsenal. Unfortunately for him, no Premier League club wants to trigger the release clause. Napoli's obviously getting a new manager. Antonio Conte looks like he's on the verge of taking over at Napoli, and he is ready to get rid of Victor Osimhen. He doesn't want a player at the club that doesn't want to be at the club. You know, you've been in the press recently talking about moving to London or moving to the Premier League. Bro, you better make that happen with your agent, because I'm looking to bring in Lukaku. You know, Antonio Conte is looking at bringing in Lukaku as his replacement. Whether that's a good signing for them or not, I mean, that's their business. But, you know, Victor Osimhen could be a player, you know, you don't know. And there's various others. Zerskis we've already mentioned. Who else is there? Couple of names. And then you've got to think about the players that are going to be sold. You know, Fabio Vieira, as we can see on the thumbnail. You know, it looks like he's going to be sold. And, you know, you guys heard my takes on Fabio Vieira yesterday. You heard my takes, man. I like Fabio Vieira. I actually like Fabio Vieira. But I honestly don't think Fabio Vieira's has a fair shot at Arsenal. I don't think he's had a fair shot. You know, people made some good points in our WhatsApp group. Big up all the guys in the chat that are in our WhatsApp group. I will open up the WhatsApp group for people to join it. You know, when the Euro starts. When the Euro starts, I'll open it back up for about a month, and then people can join, and then I'll close it again. Yeah, but we've got quite a few people in our WhatsApp group, and you know, there's daily debates, daily conversations in there, and every single day. And you know, a few people was making a point, you know, yesterday on Fabio Vieira and ESR, and the fact that, you know, ESR has been given more minutes than Fabio Vieira. Why is that? You know, we got the report coming out yesterday to suggest that Fabio Vieira hasn't been training well, and Arsenal are not happy with, you know, his training work rate. And I have to question why. Like, why is Fabio Vieira not training well? People are like, who cares? Who cares? Let's get rid of the Don. The guy's not good enough. I'll disagree. I disagree with that, and I'll tell you my reasons as to why. Because, you know, what I've seen of Fabio Vieira, the years of research and eye test that I've done in the player, I can tell you now that he has got the qualities to go on and be a very, very, very good player. But it comes with, you know, having the right manager. It also comes with, you know, the player just kind of having the willingness, and I used that word yesterday. The willingness. Does he want it? Do you want it, bro? Like, do you actually want it? Because, you know, like I was explaining earlier, Xavi Simons, who else did I mention? I mentioned another player. But all these young players, you know, Lookman, you know, you watch these players as an example. And they're players that always want to make it happen. They always want to prove themselves. They want to they're not shying away from making it happen. And that's what I think Fabio Vieira does a lot. Fabio Vieira's got the qualities to be in a conversation with these type of players, but do you have it? Do you want it? And this is where I say, listen, manager, because, you know, you got to give this Fabio Vieira situation context. Yeah, and the reason why you got to give it context as well, just to kind of so you can make a thorough determination on how you feel about this. And if you look at what's been happening with Fabio Vieira, what's happened at Arsenal with Fabio Vieira, yeah, he suffered with a few injuries at the club. We do know that. It's kept him out for a little while. I think it's been a similar injury to ESR's, kind of like some groin injury. And groin injuries are absolutely serious, man. They can have a massive impact on you. The main thing for me, though, forget the injuries. The main thing for me and Fabio Vieira is his treatment that he's had to go through at Arsenal. And let me tell you why. Because, look, you're talking about a young player that has played his first full season at Porto. His first full season at Porto at the age of 21. And in that season, he done extremely well, 16 assists, however many goals. It was a good season for him. And a lot of the time he was coming off the bench as well. So that gives you a bit more perspective. You know, he was coming off the bench, changing games, playing under a manager that was allowing him to be free-flowing, that was giving him the confidence to play his game. You know, forget the league. It's about how you feel in that team. It's not about the league. It's not about, it's about how you feel. And how you're feeling in that team is giving you the confidence to go out there and put the ball on plates for a number of players, whereby in your first full senior season, you have 16 assists. So, and then you get signed by Arsenal, a big club, a big football club, with an inexperienced manager that's not really great at man management. Let's be honest now. You're moving abroad to a different country as a young player, bearing in mind you've only just had your first full season for the club that you come through the academy for. And then you move to Arsenal, whereby you're now playing with players that are of a similar age as you, and everyone's kind of fighting for these places, fighting for this position. It can become overwhelming for that player, especially if the manager that brought you in isn't actually really looking after you. You have to bear in mind, like, that manager has to make you feel confident, make you feel that you believe, make you feel before you go out there and really, you understand? Especially when you're young. When you're old, it's a bit different. When you're 25, 26, you've maybe played for a few teams, you've played with senior players a number of times before, it's a bit different. But when you're a young player, adapts in and understand, like, come on, it can take a toll on you, and it could be one of the reasons why Fabio Vieira hasn't progressed. He hasn't prospered in at Arsenal. Now, that's not to say he's not a good enough player. That's not to say he hasn't got the qualities to go on and be one of those top dons. But what we now need to determine is Mikel Arteta the right manager for Fabio Vieira? And does Fabio Vieira have the balls and the willingness to want to be that guy? Because you've got the qualities, you've got the talent. I can vouch for that. I can see it. But now it's about you. It's a mental thing. I told you guys, man. It's a mental thing. Big up Vegas Gunner. It says Fabio was a shady deal for Edu to pocket money. And who's going to pay 30 million for a clown like Ramsdale going to a game in a costume, admitting he can't focus? Big up Vegas Gunner. Thank you ever so much for the super chat. You know what, man? You've got a good point there. And when I say a good point, I don't mean a good point on the Fabio Vieira, but I definitely mean a good point on the Aaron Ramsdale situation. I don't think it's Aaron Ramsdale is literally not, it's not working. He's not helping himself, is probably the right word or the right sentence to use. But Fabio Vieira, I don't think it was a shady deal. I think they looked at Fabio as someone that could come in and be a genuine wonder kid at Arsenal. But it's Mikel Arteta. As Mikel Arteta, his manager, his man management. Sorry, I'm not writing Mikel Arteta off. I'm not trying to, for the Arteta fangirls. I don't want you to get upset, bro. But when you're an experienced manager and you're learning what how to man manage players, you have to, like, man managing players isn't just there's so much to it, man. There's so much to it, bro. There's so much to it. So much to it. You need to understand every single player. You need to know what they're sensitive to, what they're not sensitive to, what triggers them, what doesn't trigger them. Do you know what I mean? Like this, like how can, trust me, there's so much, bruv. You need to write a flipping, it's long when you're managing a team. Even for like normal businesses that are managing, like business owners that are managing a calling floor, a calling floor of like 25 callers. Got to do all the tech. You got to do all the, there's so much to actually deal with. And then you got to build the culture and make everyone feel like they're a part of something or part of a place that, or an environment that they want to be in. You know what I mean? There's so much. There is so much to do as a manager, man. And when you're inexperienced in that field, it comes with challenges. It comes with obstacles. And I'm telling you now, when it comes to this Fabio Vieira situation, I don't think Mikel Arteta has dealt with it well. I think you've brought this young player in from Portugal and you haven't managed him well. If he went and got managed by Pep Guardiola or someone that really cared about him or someone that really saw a future in him at the club, I honestly think within a space of 2 years, and that's the space that he's been at Arsenal, I think he'll be cooking. I think he's a hybrid of Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva. I said it yesterday, bloods. Someone tried to say I said Zidane, Someone said I said Zidane, A9. A9's not in the building today. A9 doesn't want this smoke today, blood. Yeah. But Oh, I tell you, Martinelli is not serious, just like Fabio. Get rid, says Classic Guna. Yeah, man. I think. Look, I would give both players one more season. I like both players. I've told you already. This maybe be the season that we sell Martinelli, and maybe it be the season. It depends on our budget. If we've got enough money to spend, then I'll keep Martinelli. But if we've got 115 million and we need to just replace with significant improvements, then literally the sacrifices have to be made, bro. That's just how it works in life. You got to make sacrifices in order to get to where you want to get to. And Martinelli, my friend, out of all the players that we have in that attacking third, that's going to make us the most money is you. You're the sacrifice, my guy. There we have it. That's the reason why I said, and I've said, Martinelli, we might have to sell him this summer. Big up Tamina, man. Much appreciate you, Tamina. Always checking the content out. Big up my guy Melvin as well. Big up Luke Hurd in the building. Big up Troy. Big up all the guys that are joining. Classic Guna as well. Everyone, come on. We appreciate you. I'm gonna run for another 5 minutes, and I'm gone again. You know, I gave you some extra time, man. Look at that. Look at that. And I'm gonna be delayed with the agenda of the day. So I'm gonna have to speed myself up, bring myself up to speed. But that's it. You know, football's more important than running your own business, mate. Big up Wayne in the building. We appreciate you, mate. Why do you think we want Mudryk? Who said we want Mudryk, bro? This team would cook with Aubameyang. Aubameyang got over 40 GA this season. Tell me an Arsenal player that got over 40 GA. Oh, wait. Yeah, you know, then when you're there, it's the realness of it, man. And this is why you have to say man management. It's you know what? Who said that? Big up. Is it? I don't know your name. I'm not gonna pronounce it. Maybe it's me saying something stupid. Yeah. But I'll put you on the screen because this team would cook with Aubameyang, and this obviously boils back to what I was just talking about with Fabio Vieira, man management. The reason why it didn't work with Aubameyang is because of the man management of the manager. Do you know what I mean? The man management. So, like, people can say Aubameyang had a bad attitude, disciplinary issues, but then it's down to the manager to kind of sort that out. Especially when you made this your captain. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that. And that's why I think the decision had to be so ruthless as, you know, a termination of a contract. Because I think, you know, when you made that decision to appoint Aubameyang as the leader, as the captain of your football club, and then give him 350k, you shot yourself right in the foot right there. And again, that was inexperienced, naive decisions that are being made by this manager. But you literally shot yourself in the foot right there because those decisions were all wrong. Aubameyang was given the captain's armband and given the 350k a week because Arsenal was scared that he was going to leave and go to another football club. That's Arsenal are known for that. Arsenal have been doing that for years. Do you understand? But you're right. You're right, my guy. This team would cook with Aubameyang if, you know, the manager has the ability to manage egos and players of that ilk. You know, Aubameyang was never washed up. He was never washed up, and this is the reason why I won't allow people to put any slander or tarnish, you know, Aubameyang's name. He's gone to another league, finished 8th. Bearing in mind they finished 8th because we're just talking about Marseille, right? They finished 8th. In a season where he finished 8th, he got over 40 GA. So that's definitely not a washed up player. Show me a player in the Premier League that finished 8th and got over 40 GA. I'll wait. You can't even show me one at Arsenal, but you can't show me one in the Premier League just so we don't you know, look like we're calling out Arteta. Let's not call out Arteta. Show me one in the Premier League that finished 8th and done over 40 GA. I'll wait. Do you understand? So again, man, put respect on Aubameyang's name. Aubameyang was never washed up. It was always a Mikel Arteta problem. That's what it was. Just face the facts, whether you like the manager or not. Face the fucking facts. You know, then way there, man. But I think that was the last thing. We're just going to quickly kind of touch on Rashford. I mean, I told you I'm just going to milk the Rashford thing. There is not a lot going on with Rashford. Obviously, there was a secret meeting. We done a lot of the talking yesterday, and like I said at the top of this stream, we're more or less going to be regurgitating things that we said yesterday. So I didn't want to do that. I was playing and bantering at the top of the stream. Obviously, we're bringing vibes to the channel. I remember someone tried to tell me on my WhatsApp group that Curtis Shaw brings more vibes to his channel than I do, and I was like, what? Okay. All right, let's switch it up then. Let's switch it up then, yeah. Yeah, Curtis Shaw's got more in fucking engagement to that guy. I'll big up everyone on the channel, but it's you know what I mean? Come on, bro. But anyway, it's all about vibes. Nah, you want vibes? I'll give you vibes. Yeah, you want vibes? I'll give you vibes. Bloods. Yeah, live daily with Wax talking football. You don't want to miss out. 11:30 every single day, blood. Wax, do a podcast on only selling a dead wood. That'll be a good one to do, actually. I might get Yardman on for that because I know Yardman wants to get rid of a bunch of players, man. Naji, Lego One is a dead league. We are not doing that. Look at Balogun, for example. Yeah, I mean, Balogun, he hasn't hit the heights at Monaco, the heights that I expected him to hit. But then I also have to look at the players that he's playing around. And I'm not saying that the players are dead. That's not what I'm going to say. But what it is that from what I've seen, Balogun hasn't been playing in his natural position. And it has been a bit slightly overwhelming for him, you know, playing with some good players, some big names there. Do you know what I mean? But let's not kind of discredit Balogun and the quality that Balogun has. Players will have, you know, moments where they need to adapt, they need to find themselves, and sometimes it takes for players or the manager to help. But don't write off Balogun, my guy. Do not write off Balogun. It's only been half a season or one season, more or less, isn't it? So nothing too serious. Imagine Martinelli had Saka's pens when he scored 15 goals last season. I know, that's crazy. How many pens did Saka score? Because he has scored a lot of pens as well, hasn't he? That helps with the GA. If you take away the pens away from Saka, his GA is not looking as juicy as many others. Deadwood, Partey, Martinelli, Fabio, Nketiah, Ramsdale. Classic Gouda is not ramping. Martinelli would do better than Havertz up front. I'm not too sure, man. Like, you know what it is with Havertz? Because what makes Havertz work up front is Havertz's movement. His movement is so on point. And I think that allows Arsenal to transition differently, you know, and get the ball into the final third a bit differently. You know, Havertz has got good movement. He picks up good space. I can't really say the same for Martinelli, even though I would kind of lean towards saying that Martinelli might score more goals than Havertz in the number 9 role. He might score more goals, but overall, for how Arsenal play, I don't think he would be the better component. I think Havertz, because Havertz looks up, Havertz can pass. He's got a pass to a degree. You know, he can link up. Martinelli doesn't have the link up qualities. He doesn't have them. Let's not gas it. But he probably scores more chances than Havertz. He probably scores more one-on-ones than Havertz. If you're looking at that side of the game, there's so many different things that you can look at. But we were talking about Rashford quickly, and as I was saying, look, there's nothing really new on Rashford. Mikel Arteta and Rashford have had a conversation, according to what's being said by the online reports. There are, the Independent and a few other people are talking about this as well, but there's nothing that's, being said about what's being said. If you think about a conversation between the manager and a player, and what you would expect from that conversation. Firstly, it would probably be, how are you doing? How's life? I hope everything's well, family, friends. That would always be a part of the discussion, especially when you're trying to, sell a vision of, or when you're trying to bring this guy in. So first thing you do is always kind of make sure that, the player's okay, family's okay, and all of that type of stuff. You might talk a bit about aspirations. You might talk about, things that you would have in common. What I would personally do is I would find out about Rashford first, find out what I have in common with Rashford. And then when we have that meeting, I will use that to then get him to tell me what I need to know. Do you understand, blood? Yeah, I'm on some CIA shit. You understand? You get me? You see the way I break these Donnies down, cuz, yeah? I go into negotiations, I shut deals, mate. I shut deals, 20 bag, 30 bag, 40 bag, 50 bag deals, blood. It's not a joke. You're talking to the real one. You get me? But that's kind of how you would approach the Rashford. And then they will, more or less talk about what he's doing at Arsenal, what he's doing at Manchester United, and how that compares to what's going on at Arsenal and how he's feeling about that. And also kind of like, you have to remember Arsenal have gone through a difficult time. So in a way, I think Mikel Arteta would have spoken to Rashford and help him understand the process that Man United might have to go through and what it will take for Man United, kind of like what I kind of explained at the beginning of the stream. So we can encourage him a little bit to kind of make a decision. Like, you need people to make a decision. So, do you want to stay at Manchester United, or do you want to come to Arsenal? Because you now have to go through the process. This is the process. This is how long it's going to take. Now, there's no guarantee it's going to take this long, because we don't know if the shot callers and the managers that you are looking to bring in is going to work. These are things that they have to identify and kind of take into account before even this decision is made by Rashford. But then if you can get to Rashford first and help him understand the process and help him understand that we've come at the other end and we are now ready to win trophies, it could be easier to convince him to join Arsenal Football Club. And if you can do that nice and early, then there's probably a good chance that he could be one of the first signings. He could be the Kai Havertz of last season for Arsenal Football Club. But then it's just about getting Manchester United to agree with it. Now, if you are Manchester United, you are looking for finances at the moment. You are looking for finances. So I think with the way they have to kind of reshape and rebalance their squads, they're going to need money. They're going to need to not use their own money as much because they want to avoid FFP. So the easiest route for Manchester United would be to sell players. If they've got Rashford, if Rashford can already be, if Rashford can pre-agree to join Arsenal behind the scenes and have that seed in his head, then it'll be easy for him to then say to Man United, yes, I will leave, and then Man United will make that determination. How much money? Who are we going to sell him to? Do you understand? I think with Sir Radcliffe at this moment in time, I don't think he would worry about selling Rashford to Arsenal. I honestly don't think he would worry. I think I think Man United will give the green light to it. I honestly think Man United will give the green light to it. Havertz's all-round game since he's been up front has been brilliant. All jokes aside, I agree, man. I would say it's when you say his all-round game, I would say there's still parts of his game that he does need to improve. Like one-on-ones poor, shooting poor. I think there's been one good goal or maybe two good goals this season. Everything's been kind of lackluster. He scored, but scrappy little touches here and there. But in terms of everything else that he's offering the team and how he's helping Saka get up there, he's helping the left-hand channel, the left-hand side, the players that are utilizing the pockets, how he's helping those players is very, very good. How he's helping those players come into the game is very, very good. But I think he needs to be able to, he needs to compose himself a bit better. He needs to be a bit more incisive, man. There were times he takes a touch, he looks very, very slow. It's taken him about a minute or a second or 2 seconds to really get his ball into a position where he can either take a shot or make a pass, and I think you're taken away from our attack when you do things like that. But then I think that's not even Havertz's fault. You know why it's not even Havertz's fault? You know why it's not Havertz's fault? I'll tell you why now. I'll tell you right now why it's probably not Havertz's fault. It's the manager's fault. Why? Because he's got everyone inverting. You've got everyone inverting. And when everyone inverts, it means that you're more or less playing passes to a person on their right hand side, but they're a left-footed player. So what you're now doing is that player has to take time to adjust their body, and you're basically taken away from our attack. It's the same with Saka. Saka's a left-footed player playing on the right-hand side. Odegaard's a left-footed player playing on the right-hand side. You got Havertz, a left-footed player, but always receiving the ball on the right-hand side, or sometimes on the left, but it's very, very deep, not in a position where he can shoot, so he just kind of keeps possession and obviously keeps the transition going or whatnot. So it's all about this inverted stuff, man. We invert too much, which more or less is taken away from our attack. We can have more shots. We can probably have 2 to 3 more shots per game if Arteta was actually using players on their strongest feet. And that's a fact. That's a fact. You know, you see it with Saka. Saka's not strong with his right foot. He gets that ball on the right-hand side. What does he have to do? He has to stop. He has to try and get it on his left. He can't continue the play or the pattern with his right foot. He can't continue. He has to stop. And it takes away from our attack. We can't play first-time balls. We can't play first-time football. Why? Like first time, there's moments in games where you have to play first-time football. It means that we can't play one-touch football because if Saka receives the ball on his right-hand side, he's not confident or comfortable with playing with his right foot. Therefore, he's going to have to take multiple touches. So it kills the game. It kills our attack, and people don't actually understand. These are things that you got to look at, man. These are things that you got to look at. Please read my comments. Anyone that says please read my comments, man, listen, you have to hit me with a super chat if you want me to read your comment, brother. It has to be a super chat because there's so many comments in there, bro, and it does get overwhelming for me, blood. Yeah. Anyway, I don't even have much time. I'm wrapping this up now. Let me see if I can read the comment that you're talking about quickly. If I can find the comment. You talk about this Isak one. Isak had 25 GA this season. I believe Havertz had 21. It was 20, sorry. So one less. Without pens, of course. One's being glazed over 100 million, plus one was hated and was only 65 million, if I speak. No, I hear you, bro. I hear you, man. I fully hear you. Let Havertz do his thing. Let Havertz continue to make progress. He's done well. I'm not going to take that away from him. Am I fully convinced? I wouldn't say I'm fully convinced, but I would say I expect a bigger and better season next season from Kai Havertz. I don't want to see a drop-off. If I see a drop-off, I'm going to be at his neck. That's just how the game works, blood. I still wonder what happened to the traditional 4-4-2 with 7 and 11. 7 is the right winger, 11 left winger, 10 the playmaker. I know everyone's just switching up the game, changing the way football works, man. I love the old school way, the traditional way, but people don't want to play like that anymore. They want either double pivots in the middle, 3-man midfield, you got 5. What's that formation? 3-5 in midfield with 2 wing backs. Yeah, it's just new formations. In new formation, I mean, they're not even new formations, they're just evolved formations. That's probably the best way to put it. The formations have evolved and people have put their little tweaks on them. Like who was doing, like Maresca was showing his formation the other day. I was watching an interview on his formation, and basically his goalkeeper fully joins his back line. So he has no goalkeeper. He has no goalkeeper. Like Maresca's goalkeeper actually joins the back line, so that when the back line moves forward, his goalkeeper is linking up with the back line and sitting in line with the back line. That's how he put it. I haven't watched it, but that's how he put it. So, people are evolving their formations every single day. Mikel Arteta has evolved Pep's formation. Pep continues to, evolve his own formation. You've got Maresca evolving his own. Like everyone is taking bits and pieces, putting them together, trying to make something, Everyone wants to be the next genius. Everyone wants to be known as the next genius. Do you know what I mean? So if I can make this formation whereby my goalkeeper is playing as a centre-back, obviously it's a sweeper keeper. We understand what the role is, but, the guy is so far forward, you might as well call him a flipping DM. We've seen, bro, the formations are crazy these days. Proper crazy. They want to play with so much fluidity, so much control. I mean, that's probably the best way to put it, or the best word to use, control. Everyone wants control nowadays, isn't it? So, yeah, crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Big up. I'm sorry. I'm reading WhatsApp. I'm reading WhatsApp messages here now. I'm reading WhatsApp messages. Sorry, bro, for not even comments. Big up all the guys that are still in the building, man. I'm gonna wrap this up now. It's been a pleasure. It's been a long stream. I gave you an extra half an hour today, blood. Extra half an hour I gave to you today. Obviously, we appreciate every single real one in the building. Thank you ever so much for the support, though. Thiago Motta does the same as Maresca. Does sound high risk business. It's a 2-7-2. Wow. What type of formation is that? That's crazy. A 2-7-2, blood. That is a mad formation. High effective ball playing keeper. Damn. Soon that goalkeepers are going to sit down giving you their history of a player, and they're going to be telling you, yeah, I used to be a striker, blood. I used to be a striker. I was a striker all the way up until 16. Then they converted me into a goalkeeper. And I'm only 21 now. And oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. I know the Mandem's going to be heading over to the WhatsApp group as well, man. Everyone that are in the chat, heading over to the WhatsApp group. Get in there, man. The content always continues over there. We will open up the WhatsApp group to other people to join as well later on. Well, probably from the 1st of June. And then we'll close it again. But big up all the real ones. Make sure you are hitting the like button, do subscribe, all of that type of stuff. We appreciate every single one of you. It's been a very, very good stream today. A lot of interesting takes, interesting bits of content and news. So if you're joining late, make sure you go back to the beginning, watch it from the very beginning, hit the like button, all of that type of stuff. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Let's end it with Odegaard settings. Come on, boy.